Okay, Mani Selvan, good evening. So please tell me, am I audible to all of you guys? Am I audible to all of you guys? Please tell me so that we can start the class. So we have changed the timing of class from 9 to 10 p.m. It is now from 10 to 11 p.m. Today we are going to discuss the inversions of double slider crank mechanism. Okay, Mani Selvan, good evening. So please tell me, am I audible to all of you guys? Okay, Abhishek Sakla, hello. Arnab Mana, hello. Akash, good evening. Jadhav Mitesh, hello. Akash Pandey, audible, okay, nice. Okay, dear. So today we are going to see inversion of double slider crank mechanism. Previous class we have seen the crank and slotted lever mechanism, and in marathon session we have seen the velocity acceleration analysis. This is something related to the new course released from Grade Up, AMASC paper 1. Okay, these are the faculty panel you have seen before also. You will be going through the ESC classes on YouTube also. Some of the sessions are there. These are the features of this course. So my dear, as this session is related to double slider crank mechanism, so first I will be covering the double slider crank mechanism and its inversion. Then I will be coming to the pending inversion of single slider if time permits. So today the topic we are going to discuss is double slider crank mechanism. So my dear, for mechanism, first of all we will see this as a chain only, kinematic chain. Okay dear, you can see that there is a slotted plate. I am showing you it on the blank slide here. There is a slotted plate like this. This is said to be the slotted plate. And my dear, this is slider 1, this is slider 2, and they are connected with a coupling rod like this. So this is link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4. So I will say the number of links are 4. You can see between 1 and 2 there is a sliding pair. Between 2 and 3 there is a turning pair. 3 and 4 there is a turning pair. 4 and 1 there is a sliding pair. Okay dear. So 1 to 2 is a sliding pair. 2 to 3 is turning pair and sliding pair. So from a simple 4 bar mechanism, if two turning pair are converted into two sliding pair, it will become double slider crank, a double crank chain, double slider crank chain. Good evening, Malai. Good evening. Nice dear. So dear, this is related to double slider crank chain. Okay, as I shown you before. So now we are going to see the inversions. What do you feel? What can be the maximum number of inversion possible? Nitesh, hello. Maximum number of inversions possible for this mechanism. double slider crank mechanism. As the number of links are 4, so maximum inversions may be possible as equals to 4 only. Now we will see one by one and try to find out the number of inversions which are actually present. My dear, we will go with the first inversion. We are going to fix one link. If slotted plate is kept fixed. Yes, Nitish. Ram Ram, okay. Nice, Arnab, Abhishek. Karun, hello. So dear, if slotted plate is fixed, what we are going to have, I am going to show you that. We are going to keep it fixed. Slotted plate is going to be fixed. If this is going to be fixed, on this plate we will be having two sliders. They are connected with one link. Let us say this link is AB. Okay. Okay, Malai is having some request. Okay, dear, I will share your request to the grade up team. Nice, dear. So, guys, please like and share this session. Soon we are going to start vibration after this topic. As in this, we are taking arbitrarily the important topics. Okay, dear. So, now we are going to see this. My dear, I want to see that what is the kind of motion we are going to have. My dear, here you know that we can give input to one of the slider. Let us say you are going to give the motion to slider in this direction. Then this slider will give in this direction. And when the slider will go here, it will come in this direction. So one slider is going to move in this and another slider is going to move in this. So this way input and output are concerned, they will be there. And my dear, this device is said to be elliptical Dremel. I want to tell you why this is said to be elliptical Dremel. My dear, if you are going to say this is a link AB, which is a coupler or coupling rod, if we want to see that any point on this coupler, we want to see the locus of point P at AB. So let us consider that thing. We are taking this AB here, and on this AB, this is an arbitrary point Px comma y. This distance is x, this distance is y. So my dear, as you know that this angle is theta, this is also theta. We want to see the locus of point P during the motion of this mechanism. So my dear, if you want to write this x, we can have this triangle. Dear, I am going to discuss the kind of new questions which are asked on this topic. Please listen to me, because elliptical Dremel numericals have never asked in GATE till now. They may be asked. I am going to tell you those new types, so don't leave in between. Otherwise, you are going to lose something. So my dear, when we are talking about this, let us take the triangle AQP. In this triangle AQP, you can write it x by AP is cos theta. Y by BP is sin theta. You know that by trigonometry sin square theta plus cos square theta is equals to 1. So x square by AP square y square by BP square is equals to 1. My dear, the equation x square by AP square y square by BP square is equals to 1 is going to be an equation of ellipse if AP not equals to BP. If AP not equals to BP. But if AP is equals to BP, this will give you a circle. Then equation will be x square plus y square is equals to AP square or BP square. So whether it is going to be an ellipse or a circle, we can check it. Okay, dear. So you know that AP will become equals to BP only for one case if P is the midpoint of AB. If P is the midpoint of AB. So you know that on AB there are infinite points. Out of infinite point, one point is going to give you circle. Rest infinite points are going to give you ellipse. So device name is elliptical Dremel but not circular Dremel. Okay, dear. So you know if this is the equation of ellipse, if ellipse is of this type, you will say AP to be semi-major axis, BP to be semi-minor axis. If somebody is going to ask you what is the major axis, then 2 times AP. What is the minor axis then? 2 times BP. Okay, dear. Okay, so this is first inversion known as elliptical Dremel. It is used to plot an ellipse, majorly used in civil engineering application, but you might have seen this mechanism in your kinematics of machine lab. It seems to be like this. You can see this. Okay. So I wanted to say that on this line, at any point, you will be getting elliptical Dremel only. You will be getting ellipse only. Okay, nice, dear. So this is the mechanism. Second, we are going to see Scotch-Yoke mechanism. Again, they were big mathematicians. If we are going to fix one of the slider, we are going to have this kind of mechanism. I am showing you manually, my dear, that will give you better understanding of the mechanism, and this is very important for this year. Let me show you. let us say this is slider, this is slider 1, this is slider 2. Okay, so if I am going to, if I am saying that this link is fixed, obviously this link cannot move from here, and because this link is fixed, my dear, that is also for sure that elliptical Dremel, whatever, sorry, this double slide, this slotted plate can only move in this way. It cannot move in this way. Why? Because this link is fixed here. So if you are going to rotate it, you know that if you are going to rotate it, how it is going to rotate? It will be rotating in this way, na? So if this slider will reach here at this point for some instant, so at that time slotted plate will be at this position, like this, like this. So this is the motion of slotted plate when it will be moving in this way, and for other half it is going to be in this direction. So my dear, you can see this motion is like simple harmonic motion. So my dear, this mechanism is known as Scotch-Yoke mechanism. This is said to be Scotch-Yoke mechanism, and this is used to produce simple harmonic motion. This is used to produce simple harmonic motion. Yes, 2 mechanical, it is sine function, Suyan Sony, yes, nice dear. So it is going to give you simple harmonic motion. My dear, the application of this process is in power hacksaw. If you have seen this machine in your college, power hacksaw is having this kind of motion. It is moved like this. You can see my visuals, it is moving like this. It is going to cut the material like this. This is the kind of motion it is going to have. Scotch-Yoke, big mathematician. So my dear, this mechanism is like this. You can see here. This is the animation. Like this. Okay, dear. So this mechanism is shown is in this way. In the textbook, it is made in this way. This is the mechanism we obtain if one of the slider is fixed. So guys, please like and share this session. Dear, don't you feel this motion is SHM? Don't you feel this is SHM? What do you mean by SHM? Simple harmonic motion. It is to and fro motion, no? About some mean position. Okay, dear. So it is about some mean position. Simple harmonic motion. This. Jadhav Mitesh, are you clear about this? Nice, dear. So this is something known as Scotch-Yoke mechanism. And my dear, I would like to tell you that if this slider is kept fixed, You are having SHM in this direction and this direction. If you are going to fix this slider someday, then you will be having SHM in this and this direction. Means the mechanism will be rotated by 90 degrees. 90 degrees. So do you feel that if one slider is fixed and another slider is fixed, both of these two fixing will give you same motion, same relative motion or different? Obviously they are giving us same relative motion. And if they are giving us the same relative motion, my dear viewer, we will consider them as one mechanism only, not two mechanism. So once again, my dear, one inversion you will be getting as less because first inversion you got by fixing the slotted plate. The name was, क्या था name? What was the name? It is elliptical Dremel. When second link was fixed, which is the slider, or fourth link was fixed, both are slider, you will get Scotch yoke mechanism only. Now we are left with third link only, which is coupler. If it is fixed, you are going to have Oldham's coupling. Okay, dear, what is Oldham coupling? I am going to show you, dear. Okay, let me show you first of all what the working is. Please try to understand, my dear. Very less students are aware of this. If we are having a slider here, in this way, and this time we are going to fix the coupling rod. Coupling rod is going to be fixed, my dear. In that case, now what we are going to do if this is fixed? Then, my dear, you know, if this is fixed, this slider cannot translate anywhere because they are joined with a fixed link here. So, my dear, but one thing still can be happened. One thing still can happen. What I am telling you, my dear, we will be joining one shaft here. If you are joining one shaft here, input shaft, if this shaft is going to rotate, obviously this slider will be having a tendency to rotate. Slider will rotate like this, let us say. But slider is not alone now. If slider will be rotating, obviously slotted plate, this part of slotted plate will also rotate like this. Yes, about the turning pair, turning motion can happen. If this part will be rotated like this, obviously this part will come like this because they are always 90 degree to each other. And then the second slider which is inside, that is also going to rotate. And if you are going to join one shaft with this slider, that shaft will also rotate. And my dear, that will be acting like output shaft as this is an input shaft. Okay, dear. Hope you are getting it clearly. So if input motion is given here, output you will be obtaining here. Are you getting it? So my dear, here the motion we are getting is rotation to rotation. So you know that couplings are also used to join two shafts. So here we are going to join two shafts. This is driver shaft, this is driven shaft. Okay, my dear. So you can see that there is a difference. This is the gap between the axis of two shafts which are rotating. and this gap is said to be the offset. So you can say that this is a coupling named as Oldham's coupling. So I would like to tell you one thing, my dear. Okay, dear, I am going to repeat the shaft part for sure. I am going to repeat it again as per your request. Please consider this to be elliptical plate, sorry, not elliptical, slotted plate. This is slider 1, slider 2. It is joined with a coupling rod which is fixed already. Please try to understand, my dear Arnab. We have joined a shaft with this. We have joined a shaft with this, like this. And as this shaft is going to rotate, obviously this slider will rotate and this slider will rotate in this way. If the slider is rotating, obviously as it is present in the slotted bar, the slotted bar will also rotate like this. And if this is going to rotate, you know that slotted bar, obviously this is a fixed one and 90 degrees the angle between them. This part of bar will rotate in this direction. So the slider will also rotate in this way. Now if you are going to attach an output shaft with this slider, that is also going to rotate in this direction. So my dear, you are able to transmitting the power from one shaft to another. This is the work done by the couplings. So my dear, this coupling which we have obtained by this mechanism, it is said to be Oldham's coupling. When we are talking about Oldham's coupling, my dear, as you know that there is one thing known as flange coupling. Flange coupling is used to join coaxial shafts. Second kind of coupling is to join coaxial shaft, it is flange coupling. U joints used to join angularly misaligned shaft. Third thing is, no dear, because it is fixed now. If this link is fixed, slider cannot slide. Okay, if these two sliders which are joined with the turning pair, they can turn but they cannot slide because this link is fixed. Fixed means this link cannot move anywhere. If this link cannot move, slider cannot move. So my dear, third is Oldham's coupling. This is used to join two laterally misaligned shaft. How laterally misaligned? I am showing you that. First see the line diagram. This is one shaft. This is another shaft. So there is some lateral misalignment between them. And in between there will be coupling. How the coupling is going to attach, I am showing you that. First of all, I will be showing you manually. You can see this. This is the rough diagram. Okay, this is Oldham coupling. When this shaft will be rotating, this shaft will also rotate. And my dear, this coupling is having this kind of structure. Now I'm going to show you that. This is Oldham coupling. This is driver shaft, this is driven shaft. You can see there is some lateral misalignment between them. And because of that, as this Oldham coupling is connected with both these two, my dear, there is a thumb rule of mechanics. It is followed by all the mechanism. If two, if one link is connected with two other links, if one link is connected with two links and both those two links are rotating about different centers, then that link which is connecting them has to slide, obviously. For example, in crank and slotted lever mechanism, you know that crank was rotating about this point, slotted bar was oscillating about this point. So both are having rotation about different points. So they both were connected with the help of slider. Slider was having the reciprocating motion or sliding motion inside the slotted bar. Why? Because my dear, slider is connected with two bodies, crank and slotted bar, which are rotating about different centers. So definitely there was a sliding motion. The same thing you have seen in the Whitworth mechanism. The same thing you have seen in the oscillating cylinder. The same thing you have seen in the every mechanism in single slider, whatever you seen in this way. So here also you can see that this Oldham coupling is sliding as well. You can see that Oldham coupling is sliding as well. Oldham coupling is like this. In the one side there is a slot like this, on another side there is a slot like this. Why they are at 90 degrees? So that Oldham coupling shall not go below or move away from these two. So for proper locking, one is vertical, one is horizontal. If both are vertical, definitely the Oldham coupling may go away from these two shafts. Similarly, my dear, these are the slots present on driver and driven shaft to join the Oldham coupling. I feel by looking at this figure, you will be having a clear feeling of that. You can see coupling is having some sliding motion also. Why? Because it is connected with this shaft and this shaft, which are rotating at different center or different axis, about different axis. So definitely it has to slide if it has to rotate with both. This kind of coupling are said to be the Oldham coupling. Okay, my dear, hope you are getting it. As I told you, machines are different than the mechanism. This is the machine view. The view of mechanism is this one. Okay, so using that we have made that machine only. So view of mechanism is different, view of machine is different. Hope you are getting it, my dear. This is said to be the Oldham's coupling. And I would like to tell you, my dear, till now there are no numerical asked onto this. As this is the offset, I am showing offset as D is the offset. They may ask you the sliding velocity, because you know that Oldham coupling is having sliding velocity. It is sliding between these two input and output shaft. So the velocity of sliding is given as d into omega. D is offset, omega is 2 pi n by 60. It is rotating by n. Are you getting it, guys? This is something known as Oldham coupling. The view given in the books, I will be showing you. But this is the question. Okay, Whitworth we have not seen in this class. Okay, this is the question from engineering services. A point on a link connected a double slider crank mechanism will trace. What do you feel the answer is? I am waiting for your answer, guys. Hari Praneeth, you are asking something difference between coaxial and what? Yes, Arnab, the answer is D. This is related to elliptical tremor. Let me show the numericals to you. If you want to see the elliptical tremor, this is the diagram for elliptical tremor. Okay. If you want to see Scotch yoke mechanism, this is the Scotch yoke mechanism. Line diagram for Oldham coupling is this one. Okay, this is Oldham coupling. You can see the distance is D. And you can see how Oldham coupling is working. One is lateral slot, one is vertical slot. You can, dear, lateral coaxial means if this is a shaft, this is a shaft. Their axis is one only. This is coaxial. Laterally misaligned means like this. This is something known as Pallav Datta, 2 degree of freedom system is not in your course. Please check your syllabus of GATE. It is not in your syllabus. Okay, nice. Mediban, but as in the third inversion, there is no turning pair in the Oldham coupling. My dear, in Oldham coupling, there is turning pair only. In Oldham coupling, there is turning pair only because you can see that this is a slotted plate. These two sliders are having turning pair only, na? These two turning pair only. That's why they are going to rotate with the help of turning pair only. Because now sliding cannot happen because this link is fixed. Okay, Mehdi Ben. So Pallav Datta, did you get it? Because 2 degree of freedom systems are not in syllabus of GATE, and that is strictly related to GATE syllabus, whatever you are following. Okay, dear. This is the question for elliptical tremor. It is from engineering services only. Pallav Datta, are you there? Any reply? In an elliptical tremor, the length of the link connected to the two sliders is 100 mm. The tracing pen is placed on 150 mm extension. So dear, I want to say this. So this is the extension A, B. This point is P. The given thing suggests that AB is 100 mm. AP is 150 mm. BP is 50 mm. Sorry. He is saying that tracing pen is placed 150 mm extension of this link. After point B, 150 mm extension you need to take. This is the position of P, 150 mm. Means BP is 150 mm. So AP is 250 mm. So dear, the major and minor axis, you know that 2 times AP is major axis, 2 times BP is minor axis. You might be asking, sir, how do you know AP and BP are major and minor axis? Because my dear, you can see AP is 250, BP is 150. So obviously, this is going to be semi-major and this is going to be semi-minor. So by multiplying these by 2, you will get major and minor. The answer will be 500 mm and 300 mm. This is going to be the question, my dear. This is how we are going to solve it. This is a wonderful question from Greshov's law. Yes, Nitesh Kumar Sahu, you are very much correct. Mani Selvan is asking, sir, in Oldham coupling giving rotation to link 2 will link 2 alone rotates or rotates with link 1. Dear, link 2 as I okay, first solve this problem, then I will be answering your question, Mani Selvan. First solve this question, then I will be coming on to your question. Okay. You can see that input link 500 mm, output link 600 mm, shortest link is 300 mm. Okay, when the input link is rotated by motor, the output link can make complete revolution if its length L in mm satisfies the condition. So my dear, you know that Grashof law satisfied, then only you can have such kind of motion. So S plus L should be less than P plus Q. My dear, from the given data, as you can see, the shortest link is 300 mm. Okay, and input link is given as 500, output link is given as 600 mm. So if this input and output link are P and Q, then my dear, you know that, then what can be the values of L? So shortest is 300 plus L less than equals to, if my dear the fourth link is lesser than 600 mm, not lesser than, more than 600 mm. If L is going to more than 600 mm, then L will be acting as the longest link and there will be some other two links. So my dear, I am writing P is 500 plus 600. You can see they are 1100, the sum is, and if it is 300, L should be minimum of 800. Okay, maximum of 800. If L is 800, this condition is satisfied. L should be less than 800, that is for sure from this condition. If L is less than 800, definitely this condition is going to be satisfied. Similarly, my dear, if longest link is lesser than 600 mm, then this will not remain longest, then output link will become longest link. Okay dear, then I will be writing 300 plus 600 is less than equals to P plus Q, it is 500 plus Q. Then it is 900, then the minimum value of Q you can write it to be 400. So Q should be more than 400, it should be less than 800. So answer will be this. Hope you are getting it here. Nice Arnab and Mani Selvan. So this is how these questions can be proceeded, can be done. So now I am coming to the doubt of Mani Selvan. Mani Selvan is asking that, sir, in Oldham coupling giving rotation to link 2. My dear, this is link 1. Slider is link number 2. If you're going to rotate this link, my dear, don't you feel that this slotted plate will also move? Without the motion of slotted plate, can you rotate the link number 2? It is not possible. And if this slotted plate is rotating like this, the other part of slotted plate will also rotate. So both the part of slotted plate are going to rotate only, my dear. Okay. And if both the parts are going to be rotated, so the rotation of this slider will result in rotation of slider 2. Okay dear, this is how you are going to proceed. Mani Selvan, are you clear? Please tell me. This was the question you were asking me. I answered you. Are you okay with this? I am going to tell you the concept of mechanical advantage. As the name suggests, mechanical advantage. It is going to give you some kind of advantage. What do you mean by advantage, my dear? It is defined as output power to the input power. It can also be written as output torque, output omega, input torque, input omega, because power is T into omega. Okay dear, so this is something known as mechanical advantage. It can be defined as, is it okay I have written or wrong? No, it is not correct. Yes, it is not correct. My dear, mechanical advantage is defined as load lifted by effort applied. Load lifted by effort applied. This is said to be mechanical advantage. And my dear, if you are talking about the mechanical advantage, yes, you have seen some devices like screw jack, where you apply a small force and whole car can be lifted up. Such kind of conditions are going to give you mechanical advantage, my dear. Okay, dear. First thing. Second thing I would like to tell you, my dear, you have seen something related to that. Mechanical advantage in case of mechanism is given by torque output by torque input or force output by force input. And obviously mechanical advantage is defined always more than one. So my question to you is, can output force be more than input force? Is it possible? Is it possible? Can you have that? Please tell me that. Because you know that efficiency is always less than 1. So please tell me, is it possible or not? Can you have output torque as more than input torque? Please tell me that, guys. Is it possible? I am waiting for your reply, dear. Yes, it is possible. Because my dear, efficiency is defined as output power to input power. Output torque, output omega to the input torque, input omega. So efficiency is, you can write T naught by Ti is equals to efficiency times omega input by omega output. If efficiency is 100%, To by Ti is omega I by omega naught. So my dear, if you want to have a mechanical advantage more than one, you need to put omega I by omega naught is less than 1, means to increase the output force or output torque, you need to reduce the input velocity. Okay, dear. So mechanical advantage is given as efficiency times omega input by omega output. So I would like to tell you, my dear, there are three terms. One is mechanical advantage, which is always more than 1 or equals to 1. Second is efficiency, always less than 1. Third thing is productivity. That must always be more than 1. Otherwise, the business will go. Yes, dear, nice. So, guys, please like and share this session so that your friends can also be benefited by this. So, you might be knowing always related to the productivity in industrial engineering. I'm not going to go into a detail of this. It is defined as, productivity is defined as what you are getting as output divided by what you are giving as input. This is the definition of productivity. Productivity is always more than 1. My dear, it is similar to, for example, I am talking related to labor productivity. What does that mean? Let us say you are running a service, you are providing some service of, let us say, you are providing service related to what? Related to guards to some societies, and you are having 10% under you working, and my dear, everybody is taking a salary of 10,000 every month from you. So your monthly expenditure is 1 lakh rupees. Sorry, not 1 lakh, it is 10,000 into 10. Yes, 1 lakh rupees. Okay, my dear, but let us say you are going to give this facility to some society at 12k per person, 12k per month per person you are providing. So you are going to get 1,20,000 after every month. So this labor productivity will be 1.2, because you are getting 1,20,000 as output and you are putting input of 1 lakh rupees. So 1.2 is going to be the labor productivity. This is how this thing is defined. So my dear, mechanical advantage is more than 1, and mechanical advantage from now onward is given as efficiency times omega input by omega output. One question came in GATE from this concept. A single slider crank mechanism was given, and for this position they asked find out the mechanical advantage. They have given that omega is the angular velocity for this. My dear, this is input link acting as input, this is acting at output link. If you're going to, otherwise slider is output only, but you can consider this to be as output because this is connected with the slider. So the velocity of slider will depend upon this point only, and this point lies over this link, so we can consider it in this way. So my dear, mechanical advantage as efficiency not mentioned, you will be writing omega input by omega output. Omega input is given as omega. You know that slider is moving in this direction and then in this direction. At this position, slider is at its extreme position. Now it is about to come in this way. So my dear, whenever slider is sliding from this position to this position, at both these positions, slider will be at rest only. Then only it is going to change the direction of motion. So at this position, slider will be changing its direction in this way. So my dear, in that case, omega output is going to be 0 only. So it is going to be omega by 0, it will tending to infinity. So mechanical advantage will become infinite. For any such condition, when some link is going to change its direction of motion, mechanical advantage is going to be infinite. So whenever you are having crank rocker mechanism, there are two positions where rocker changes its direction. Mechanical advantage will be infinite only. My dear, wherever the output link changes its position, you are going to have mechanical advantage of infinite. Yes, my dear, that's for sure. So hope dear you are getting this. I feel the time for today's session is about to over. I would like to tell you, my dear, soon we are going to start. Soon we are going to start the analysis of vibrations. So be ready for that. And we have changed the time from 9 to 10. Please follow this time for the next classes. And do not miss any class in this week, as I am going to teach you vibration part also. It is very, very important. 6 marks is the weightage for vibration alone. And guys, you can please invite your friends also for these free sessions, because if you are going to be more in number, definitely we can increase the length of the session, and also we can provide more sessions so that more and more syllabus can be covered here at YouTube, because this subject you will not get in so much depth anywhere. So dear, goodbye for this session. Let's meet tomorrow with some new topics and new energy. Okay dear Nitesh, thanks, goodbye.